All right, so yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit about building an arcade. So first I'm going to start like, I don't know, do you all know what the arcade is? So back, those of us who grew up like in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, we used to like to go to a fair, and we would have these machines in which you can play video games. But you have to put a coin inside, and a lot of us actually spend all of our pocket money playing on one of these machines. And the goal was to master it, to use only one coin and go play for hours until the end of the game. Some of the games didn't even have the end, which was frustrating. But anyway, that's how we used to play as a kids. And me and my cousins played a lot of these games, and lost a lot of money. And so practically, like, all of us wanted to build this arcade, and I'm like, my cousin is really good with wood. He's a really good carpenter. He builds all these boats and kayaks and all the stuff with the wood. I'm actually pretty bad with it. But and I was coming here from San Francisco, and every year I come, and we do a lot of stuff together, like play games. Yeah, this is. And this year, like, I asked him, maybe we can do for a change something practical, like build an arcade. I found like a lot of electronic components at other fruit industries, and I bought them and play around it with home, but I couldn't build the whole thing. And he was thinking about it, the same thing, but he wanted to build this thing and didn't have the components and the electronics and all of that. So we came to the idea, okay, we're going to build the arcade within like a couple of days that I'm going to spend here. And so we both needed to prepare very good, because we only had a couple of days of me staying here. And so basically he built, as you can see on the pictures, this cabinet from the wood. And I brought all the electronics, which was really funny when I was stopped at the border, and I opened my suitcase full of electronics and tea molding and asked, like, what is this? Okay, it's a Leisner. And I said it like, it's completely normal that somebody from US is bringing a Leisner with him, but it was like, okay, basically, I just brought all the components I thought we need, and I didn't know if we're gonna find it in Serbia. We didn't have time and all that, like in case something is missing. So basically, we started working on it. The cabinet was like kind of in this state when I already arrived. And then we started, working on it, and I started, connecting my components. And I asked a friend we had, an electrician, to bring, the soldering iron and all the stuff we needed. And then I realized that one of the joysticks I bought from Adafruit doesn't work. So, yeah, we were kind of stuck in that moment, like, okay, what's going to happen, like maybe, okay, we're going to make it only for one player, and, it became a little bit frustrating, like everything works except one joystick. So after hours of discovering, we did, our friends actually dismantled this whole thing. And so that, I guess that's kind of a difference. Like here, you can't just send it back and like get a return. Like you have to hack it. And one of the micro switches was broken, so we didn't even have the another micro switch. So he dismantled the micro switch, and kind of blowed a little bit into it, and suddenly it worked. Yeah, he soldered everything back, and suddenly the whole thing worked. So basically, from the components part, it's a Raspberry Pi. We decided to use the Raspberry Pi. It's the cheapest, it's the low power, it's really cool, and it can run Mame and Linux on it. And so when I was deciding which components should I use, I started thinking about, connecting the GPIOs and all that, and like, okay, there's not enough of them on the Raspberry Pi for 2 players, and so basically I found this amazing thing, which is right now in the picture. It's called iPack, and it's basically a USB controller that so when you connect it to a computer, it shows itself as a keyboard. But all these pins on it are actually mapped exactly for Mame emulator to be like a left, right, player one, buttons and coin insert. It's already pre-mapped, so all you have to do is basically this. All you have to basically do is connect all the buttons and the joystick to it, and daisy chain the ground and connect to it. And yeah, this is our desk while we were working on it. And then it magically works. You just connect it to a Raspberry Pi, you pray a little bit, and then, suddenly, ta-da. It all worked out for us. So yeah, there was one of the things that this picture doesn't show was that T-molding. And we didn't have actually the machine to put the T-molding in place, and the cabinet was already connected. I mean, the wood was already connected, so even if we had, we wouldn't be able to do it. So we decided to cut the T from the T-molding and just glue it. And that didn't work out. So we used another type of glue, like super glue, and that didn't work out. So eventually we used epoxy. Like this has to work it. So we kind of glued ourselves, but that still didn't work out. So basically, if you want to connect T-molding, you have to put it the right way, because the surface is just too, it's not rough enough to stick with any kind of a glue. That's why it's kind of a brushed over. Like you don't have that rubber that goes all around it like you used to have in the real arcades. But hey, well, it works, and we're really happy with our product. So we managed to pull it off in like 3 days, which is like really good. You can all check it out. It's upstairs. You can play with it. And, we started, it's something that we managed to do it together, and we started building an arcade, but actually we ended up building a dream of childhood dream of owning one. So that's about it. Thank you. If anybody has any questions. Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you buy the controllers?
I actually bought it from Adafruit Industries. But as far as I heard, you can even find it. There's a guy selling them in Belgrade.
In the States, where did you buy them? Online. So
Online, yeah.
Share the site somewhere, please.
It's, Adafruit.com, I think.